Welcome to Declare's Delight with Light. Delight. I'm back from my special place, and tonight is decluttering. It's all about the heart. How do we make the difference between from the heart? It's all about the heart. Well, it's all about the heart. It's encompassing the wholeness, the wholeness of life. And to me, I've made a representation is that, for a lot of us, this heart is a heart, but there's a lot of holes in it. And for a lot of us, we have a lot of holes in our heart. And a lot of these holes have been by past hurts, past pains, all sorts of things. And it's created for a lot of us a real cluttery situation within our heart. And a lot of us have had a lot of, difficult journeys in our lives who have been hoarders or declutters or chronic disorganizers. And we think we have a whole heart, but in hearts of all hearts, when somebody comes out and does something against us, whether it be a loved one or somebody close to us or a friend, it can really negatively impact us in some way, whether it be physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And one thing I do know is that, when things like that happen, it hurts. But the one thing I do know is that my reaction to it plays a big part on whether or not I can heal my own heart of hurts. And I don't have to live with a holy heart because I can fill my own heart with all sorts of goodness and great stuff and positive stuff that can be great books, great positive iMessages, all sorts of stuff, journaling, prayer, meditation, thinking more on the positive side or connecting with positive people, maybe on different platforms, on Facebook, Snapchat, Zoom, or, people or meetups or all sorts of things, positive things you can do for yourself or at the Y, or there are numerous places you can do things to fill your heart. Because the one thing we have to learn is that we have to be responsible for our own hearts, because our hearts can be very gentle things and they can be hurt very easily. I know my heart can be hurt very easily because I find myself extremely sensitive even now with all the recovery I've gone through. My heart still is sensitive, and I still have some physical symptoms when I let people hurt my heart too much. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a whole hard heart, but what I mean is you learn to have your own sense of who you are. And when you have your own sense of who you are, then your heart ain't so holy. You're able to take in love. You're able to take in who you are. You're able to see a whole picture. You're able to see through the clouds that you've walked around all your life. I know for a long time I walked around in the clouds and I couldn't see very clearly until the clouds parted one day and said, you know what? I have a holy heart and I need to do something about my heart. And when I started filling in my heart with a lot of good stuff and positive stuff, I started realizing and seeing things around me that had negative impacts on me. And I realized that I don't have to stand for these kind of things. I have choices on who I let into my heart and who I don't. It's kind of like a gate, in a yard. I can let people in and I can let people out. But the whole clutter thing about the situation is that when we don't have any gates or have any sense, is that people come in and just trample all over everything and we don't have any sense of who we are, and we get lost. But we don't have to get lost, because if we sit down and journal, or do all sorts of things, we can have within our own hearts healing, and those holes that were there fill in. It's kind of like you kind of within your own heart. It's like when you fill it in with good soil. Amongst the good soil gets spread around, things start growing. And when they start growing, your heart starts filling up with good stuff. It's like that beautiful garden that's always been there, but it's just been laying dormant. And when you start enriching your life with good stuff, your holy heart is not there anymore. And then it starts to bloom and grow, and people see it. And that's a beautiful thing. And when you don't have a holy heart, it's not so cluttery anymore. And when you don't have a cluttery heart, other people see that. You attract better people into your life. You open yourself up to being able to see that you're worth something. You're a more whole human being. Or I should say a whole human being, because you were always a whole human being. And I realized that for myself, is that I was a whole human being. I had a lot of great attributes. And in realizing I had a lot of great attributes, that, some people say it's an ego or whatever. But to me, it's just saying, hey, I'm worth something. I'm not worthless. I'm not a worthless piece of garbage. In fact, I'm worth my weight in gold, literally, as far as I'm concerned. And that doesn't mean necessarily weight-wise. What I mean, my heart's worth its weight in gold. And it's a beautiful thing to look at, because, we can have this, and it looks pretty, and it's okay, and it's pink, but I would rather look at a whole pink heart that's full of love and compassion and kindness for yourself. Because when you can have that for yourself, you can have it for others around you. And when you can have it for others around you, you attract a lot more other great things into your life, and you start healing. You can start healing from being a hoarder, a clutterer, or a chronic disorganizer. And all those things you used to do, you start wondering why you did them. You did a lot of it out of being hurt. And you cover all that up with buying stuff, holding on to stuff, all sorts of stuff. And without realizing, it became a bigger problem, because I know I did that. And when you don't have those feelings anymore, you can look around and see the truth of everything. Sometimes that's a harsh truth, but when you realize that truth and can do something about it, you're decluttering all about your heart. And that's a biggie. That's a game changer. That's for everything. It's like saying, hey, you know what? I can do something about my problem. I don't have to be around anymore. I don't have to live like that anymore. I can walk outside my house. I can start taking out the stuff of it. I can start separating it. I can, make some different choices. I don't have to have so much stuff to hold on to realize, I'm worth something. And as you let go and go through this process of letting go, you open yourself to the greatness of the universe. And there's a great world outside that's beautiful. And because I have a special place that's very beautiful, and you're very beautiful out there. And we're all beautiful people inside. And it's all it's all about your heart and healing our hearts. And there's a lot to be said about healing our hearts and letting whether or not we want to keep people in our lives about who are good for us or not so good. And that's up to us to make our own choices when we don't realize it. For a long time, I didn't think I had choices, but I do now. And I know you guys can realize that for yourself. And then when you realize that too, that's part of the healing process. And the healing process is a wonderful thing. And it takes a lot of courage and strength and fortitude and perseverance to do it. But the rewards are great because you get out from under a lot of not just junk, but you get to walk on a different path in life. And that's a powerful thing. And that all begins with decluttering. It's all about your heart. And with that, I wish you a great Declutter's Delight for life and have a compassionate, kind, and tranquil night. And peace and love to you all. And let you have a heart that can be filled with lots of love. Blessings to you all.